Hey guys, welcome back. This is a very special episode in my heart. I'm actually interviewing one of my best friends, Captain Daniel Watson, and we're gonna be talking about, can active duty military own a business? All right, so first we're gonna be talking about mindset and then how to get all this done, and then how he's doing this with 3 kids and a wife. Actually, a brand new baby's on the way, so that'll be the 3rd kid. So stick around to the very end. Welcome, Rhino Nation, Rhino Tribe. My name is Brent Bowers, and I have a very amazing guest today. You guys might know his face. You might recognize his name because I've already got the opportunity to do a podcast with him. This is actually a video and a podcast this time. Last time, I don't even think we actually did video, but this guy is blowing my mind with all the updates he's been giving me and just constantly back and forth. It's a good friend of mine. I got to serve in the military with him. I met him out at Fort Carson, Colorado. He actually took the spot of one of my jobs. He took over from me. So he probably had a lot of things to fix afterwards after I took off out of there. But we've created a great friendship. I keep in touch with him and, all the land deals he's doing. So I got you right here, Daniel Watson. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on, Brent. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. This is a good time. We're just sitting here drinking some coffee together, and Daniel's showing me all of his closing packets. Where you been lately? What's going on? Give me the last couple months of your life. I know you got some great news as well coming as well.
It's been pretty crazy. A lot of things have happened on both, personally, as well as both of my careers that I'm doing right now. I took command in an ABCT, which, in Texas. I'm at Fort Hood, so I'm a commander of a company. My wife is pregnant with our 3rd baby. We're having a little baby boy in November, so that's exciting.
3rd baby boy.
3rd baby boy. Yep. 3rd baby boy. And then all the while, I've been trying to kill it as much as possible in my land ventures. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, what the heck's a company commander do? That sounds like a pretty cush job in the Army, right?
Well, I have 149 soldiers that I'm responsible for the health, safety, well-being, training every single day. It's a Saturday, and it's very likely that I get a phone call today about something that's happened, unfortunately, that could negatively affect the unit and that soldier involved. So yeah, it's very stressful. It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 24-hour duty that I'm on at all times just for that. So
when I was an Army officer, I was expected to have my phone like glued to my hip, no matter what time of the day, nighttime it was. I was always on call, almost as if kind of like a doctor, like a surgeon that has to come and catch a baby. But here's the thing about doctors, and nothing against doctors, they get to actually, put that phone away a couple times a week or hand it over to somebody else. Do you ever get to do that?
No. So after that doctor catches the baby and sends that person home, that's pretty much it. Me, I'm checking up. I'm always having to stay in contact with that individual and just make sure that they're always safe and healthy and all of that. So it goes beyond, honestly, what any doctor would have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And, it is a burden, but it's also something that I feel like it's a blessing too, in a lot of ways, because, I'm getting to have impact on a lot of people's lives. 149 people look to me and my command team for answers and guidance and all of that on a daily basis. So it's very rewarding in that regard.
Man, it's leadership at its finest. And you're also not just responsible for 149 soldiers, but their families, their spouses, their children, as well as all the equipment that you're in charge of as well. So
millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment.
You've got a lot on your shoulders. You're a very busy man. You got a wife and 3 children and 149 soldiers looking to you. And you also have a land business. What's been going on with that? Like, what's that looking like lately?
Well, it's kind of, it's progressed certainly over the last year. I think I talked to you before. I just hit my 1-year mark on July the 5th of this year from when I sold my first property in 2020. I sold my first land deal. I remember it very distinctly because it was right after I had people over the day before for the July 4th holiday. And I wake up the next morning after posting a deal online Literally on July 4th, I posted the deal online or posted the property online. And then I saw that I had a response and the dude wanted to buy it the next day. I was like, holy crap. Like, we got this first one, this really works.
Holy crap. Where did you post it at?
I posted it on Land Century. That was the first post I posted on there because Land Century is cheaper than Land Watch. Okay. So, I mean, I was wanting to be as minimal in cost as possible at the time because, I was wanting to jump into this full gear, but, still I had to budget. You know what I mean? It was the cheapest way to do it. $79 a month.
Revenue in the first position. I mean, yeah, that first posting is $15 for the first listing. So worth it. $15 for 1 month, get 1,000 eyeballs on your property.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, I bought that property for, I want to say $1,500 and I sold it for $9,500
So you turned
on terms on that one. But so I was getting $300 a month for the next however many years or whatever. But the funny thing about that one is actually I have the ability to sell that one again now. But
so you took it back. You had to take it back.
Yeah, the dude didn't pay for like a few months, several months, and I actually sold it a second time after that's already gone. I sold it for cash.
Okay, the first time you turned $1,500 into 9,000. How much did you say it was?
No. So when I sold it, I sold it on terms for $300 a month. After 6 months, the guy stopped paying. And then I had, after several months, I had to just repossess it. It's the last thing I want to do, but I had to do it. It was my first one. I had to repossess it. And I ended up selling it for cash, $9,500 cash the second time after that. So that property that I bought for $1,500, I made, maybe a little over $1,000 on the first sale, and then I sold it the second time for $9,500, $10,000 on that property in total profit.
Man, You almost were able to actually get your initial investment out of it with that first buyer.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of the dirty part about this land business. Sometimes people just don't pay. They'll pay the down payment. They'll pay for 6 or 7 months or 3 months or 2 months, and we're profitable. Or I've gotten my initial investment back, and then I sell it again. That's literally infinite profits. Like, that's printing money. It's like the US government.
Yep.
No pun intended.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. $9,500 cash on $1,500. Well, I know that's just like the first deal.
Yeah. And then it went in, then like I talked about in the last podcast, and then it got to the point where, I was buying properties for $1,500, selling them for $5,500. So I got to the point in the first 6 months that I was selling 3 or 4 of those a month consistently, making $9,000 to $12,000 a month. And really, that's a goal right there. That's a life. You know what I mean? That's that's $120,000 a year or more. That can be a secondary income for somebody, and then they can just stay at that level for the rest of their lives and be happy doing that.
Your secondary income was more than most Americans make in 2 years.
It was more than I make in the Army. As a captain in the Army. Yeah. I mean, that right there was more than I make in the Army. Yeah. So I was doubling my income right there. But me, I'm like you, I mean, I have to grow and build and see how far I can take something. I want to go all in. So that's when I decided I'm going to stop buying Desert Square properties and focus on higher value. Let's just call it better properties. And it's better properties for a few reasons. And it's a better experience because the quality of buyer and seller, and I don't want to sound like a jerk or anything, but honestly, the quality of buyer and seller is different from the Desert Square properties to the, let's say, infill lots where you're buying and selling an infill lot that's a quarter acre, buying it for 10, 20, 30 grand, selling it for 50, 60, 100 grand. That's a totally different process because then you're involving, title companies, you're putting it on the MLS, and a lot of that work, all of that work you're putting in to make $10,000 a month, you are actually allowing a title company and a real estate agent and the MLS to do all of those steps for you at that point. So you're actually working less when you do the bigger properties because you have other people involved. Yes, you have to pay them a commission. They get their piece, but the spread is so big that it doesn't even matter.
So you're implementing a team, basically, a team that's there to support you in the effort, and everybody's getting a piece of the pie, but your pie is like way bigger,
Right.
way
It's
bigger.
not on payroll either. You know what I mean? This is a team that's not on payroll that is just doing their job, and they're still working for you, but you're not really paying them. You're paying them out of the sales and the transactions that just deduct themselves automatically. But you don't have a team per se that you're actually paying on a monthly basis.
They eat what they kill. They're paid to perform.
Exactly. And that's what I want to kind of go into with my whole method and how I keep myself from going crazy on a daily basis doing this, because of those teams and the systems that I have in place with those teams and just how phenomenal they are. I got to give them their credit, because I don't think every title company is like the other. I don't think every real estate agent is like the other either. So I have, thank God, found the right people to take this journey with me and do this. And it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, that is amazing. I mean, that's so key. It's the right people in the right seat. How did you find those people? How many did you have to go through to actually get, the right people and the right realtor, the right title company?
It's still even an ongoing process, because every time I move into a new place, I want to find those right people. I kind of set those things up initially before I really start doing a lot of purchases in that area. So for instance, I sent out a mailer to an area and I got some mail back, right? Great. That's awesome, right? So what I did was I started shopping it around with different real estate agents in that area. I wanted to kind of pick their brain. I didn't really lie, but I kind of acted as though I already owned the property, okay? Because I have it under contract. Oh, I'm about to have it under contract anyway. I've signed purchase agreements. So I just call up and be like, hey, I see you're a realtor in the area, and I make sure that they are somebody who specializes in land and they actually care about doing land. And then I say, what is the base bottom level price you can sell this property for in 30 days? Like, what can you push this out the door in 30 days? And they would tell me, and then I would call another place, and I would call another place. And if the numbers, I'd take away the outliers, you know what I mean? And I would find the ones that were pretty consistent. Then I had them send me MLS stuff. Like they gave me access to MLS, right? For those particular properties.
You can kind of see the
what I'm looking for. Compare, right? So properties in this zip code, this size that I'm looking for, blah, blah, blah. And then I could look at the sales, right? I could see the things that were sold. So then what I did was I actually started taking note of the agents that sold the properties, not just the ones that listed them, but the ones that sold them. They have a track record of success.
The buyer's agents, the ones that actually had the buyer with the money.
Right. So I kept seeing a name pop up, the same dude. I was like, okay.
Patterns.
I'm calling this dude. Yep. This guy has been successful, recent success, right? In the last 6 months, selling these properties. I just called him up. I was like, hey man, I have like 5 or 6 properties here. Can you give me what you think you can sell them all for? And I was thinking, because I got these properties, Brent, for $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 under contract each. He was throwing out numbers like 45,000, 55,000, 65,000. I was like, do I believe this? So I was like, whatever, man. Like this is $20,000 worth of land that I'm about to buy right now. Let's just pull the trigger on it, see what he does. I'm not kidding when I tell you, this guy sold every one of those properties in the first 2 months. Like I was paid, and it was just phenomenal.
Success leaves clues. This guy is the one that keeps popping up on the MLS. I mean, would you list it with the guy you've never heard of, or the one that keeps bringing the buyers for these parcels of land? And you hit it on the head. Land specialist, not someone that deals in $600,000 or $700,000 homes. You're looking for someone that just deals in land, $50,000, $60,000 parcels. I mean, what is this guy doing to sell these things? Like, does he have a buyer's list?
He has a huge buyer's list. He's been in the area selling property for 20 years. Okay, so he knows the area. He lives in the area. And, I pay him 6%, right? Which is fine, because he's doing the work. He's doing all the work. I have a Land Watch account. Okay. I have a Land Century account, and I keep them on there, and, I'll hopefully maybe use them for tax purposes. I'll deduct, whatever I spend on that type of stuff, whatever. But it's better to have it and not use it to me at this point, because if I want to use it in the future, I still can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have it for if I need to. But
Yeah,
Brent,
you gotta get rid of those expenses. Like I call them phantom expenses. Sometimes I'll look at my Amex because a lot of our stuff goes on our Amex every month. I'll be like, we haven't used this in 3 months or 6 months. And these charges really add up, especially for like land.com if you're not using it. The best way to get rid of all those is cancel your card, report it stolen, and then all those things stop charging you, and you get a bunch of emails of really aggravated companies, and the ones you're still using, just give them a new card.
that's a good idea. I haven't thought about that. Maybe I should do that. But yeah, I mean, the point is, like, if I need it, I have it. But right now, I'm selling them so fast that I don't even have time to post them. And really, and we'll get into this a little more, but the target market for who I'm selling it to, really, they're probably not going on LandWatch. I don't know. I don't think they're looking at my land on LandWatch because I'm targeting contractors. Because what I've found is, I mean, right now, you look at the market and everything, there's just not enough new home builds to keep up with people that want to be first-time home buyers, but to buy new builds, right? They don't always want to buy that rehabbed house. They want to be the first person that lives in it, and they want it to be theirs and all of that. They want it to be built the way they want, the layout to be what they want, blah, blah, blah. What do you need for that? Well, you need somebody to build it. You need a builder. Well, what does the builder need? He needs some land to build that house on.
Because what do builders want to do? Build. They don't want to go out and
build.
source land like you are. They want to grab land. They'll pay retail for it because you've made it easy for them.
Right. So what I've kind of found is a builder wants to pay about 20% of what their budget for the land is, about 20% of what they want to sell a house for.
Is that still true right now with these high, crazy lumber prices?
Well, lumber prices are actually starting to go down. They've actually gone down quite a bit recently. Literally over the last month, they've actually started to go down a little bit. But yeah, pretty much. So I mean, if you target areas where all the houses in that area sell for over $500,000, you know what I mean? So I mean, what's 20% of $500,000?
100 grand.
100 grand, right? So I want to target those places, but I wanted my offers to be no more than 50 grand, right?
So you're offering 50, selling it for 100.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, doesn't sound like you're making much money there.
Right. Exactly. So, but yeah, I would say, but honestly, right now, my average deal looks like I buy for 15 to 25,000. Let's just call it 20,000, and I sell for 65 to 75,000. That's a very common deal right now that I do. So, if I'm selling for 70,000, let's kind of do the math times 0.06. Okay. So that's $4,200 off the top. That's what my realtor is going to get, right? Then I add, this is how I do every deal, by the way. So I add $2,000 of that. It's probably going to be less, but that's fine. And what that covers is the title company and my survey. So one thing that I do is I always purchase a survey on the buy side. That way I always have it ready for the sale side. When my realtor goes to sell this property and they say, who's going to pay for the survey? Who's doing this? Well, survey's in hand, buddy. Like, you have it. You have it when you put the offer on the property. There's no surprises like, oh, wow, there's a guide pole in an area that I don't want it. You know what I mean? I came into that situation a few weeks ago, but there's a guy line here. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, we're going to cancel the contract. No, dude, like, you're already past, you paid your earnest money. You're
Is
already
that the one you sent me the pictures of where it was going right through the property?
It was actually on the edge of the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on the road.
It was like 30 feet in. I mean, it wasn't even part of the building where the house platform would actually be. You know, I mean, it wasn't an issue, but
so no big deal, basically.
Yeah, no big deal. But just things like that, the buyer can't at that point say, well, I didn't have all the information on this property. They have everything right from the beginning, and their time for termination is already passed. We give them 7 days now because we were giving them 2 weeks.
You're giving them all the information that they can make a decision right there, and they're locked in.
3 days. I just got one under contract 2 days ago. We gave them 3 days.
Wow.
It was $2,000 earnest money, $300 termination clause or whatever, right? And then 3 days. And so that 3 days is already passed. So therefore, like they're either buying this on the 24th of August, closing on it, or I still get $2,000. So,
and that pays for the survey, right? Like,
yeah, that pays for the survey, that pays for the title company, everything. Every time that something's not gone through the first time, it's gone through the second. So, I mean, it's like, you kind of think about it, like I actually just made $2,000 more on that property than what I thought I was going to. So it's always worked out.
I know what people are thinking is like, how in the heck is he buying all these properties? Like you mentioned so easily, like, oh, I'm buying $20,000 worth of land like it was nothing. You know, did you start there, or how did you get there? Or, I mean, where in the heck are you finding all this money to buy all this land to turn around and sell it?
Guys, isn't this such amazing stuff? Definitely smash that subscribe button and check that bell light. Turn that bell to all notifications. I'm coming out with these 5 days a week. I'm also here on YouTube as well as the Wholesaling Inc. podcast.
I roll everything back into the acquisition funds anyway. You know, I pay myself a salary, like we had talked about. I pay myself a salary, which becomes, because my wife doesn't work. She takes care of our kids. She okay, I can't say it like that. My wife.
Yeah, careful.
My wife has the job that I don't want, to be quite honest. She's like a saint. Like, she takes care of the kids. She takes care of the house. I never have to worry about anything on the home front. It's phenomenal. I love it. But this has allowed me to have a secondary income without a spouse that actually has to physically go to a W-2 job. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you know why we say our wives don't work when they stay at home? Because it's almost like we get to call it work if we leave the house and get away, but their job never ends. So they're always working. Even when they're sleeping, our daughter woke us up 3 times last night. Yeah. And I'm like snoring away. So she's working all night, all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, man, like, so, you know, I'm paying myself that monthly, you know, income, whatever. Kind of got off where I was going with that there. But
yeah, salary, you're rolling the funds.
Oh yeah, roll all the money back into it, right? So every time I make money, that just builds up my acquisition pool of money even more. Is kind of the way I think about it, because I don't have to live off of it. You know, I don't have to live off that money. I still live as though I am simply an Army officer. I live off that salary, and everything else just goes either into my savings account or back into my acquisition funds account. That's it.
Imagine this huge, massive snowball that you're building, and it
really is.
A couple years it's gonna be worth millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, in the first 6 months, I think I sold right around $1 million worth of property. Now, you know, I didn't make $1 million, but I sold $1 million worth of property from January through July. And then
in 7 months. 7 months.
A
lot of realtors say that, and they get to make 6% on it usually. So I always think, oh yeah, big deal, $1 million. But you're making what, 30, 40, sometimes 50 cents on the dollar for that. I'm doing a calculation. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what would you say the net profit is of where, after the title company's paid, after the surveys paid, after your realtors paid? What would you say is the net that you're actually getting to keep out of all of it?
I don't know. I feel kind of weird throwing these numbers out, you know, honestly, because
it's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, I'm making 6 figures net profit a month right now.
You totally just scratched your mic when you said, I completely didn't hear what you said there.
I'm making 6 figures a month net profit. I'm averaging $100,000 a month profit net, and that's after the title companies. That's after my realtor. My realtor's made 6 figures off me probably this year already.
Good. It's a good feeling, right?
So I mean, that's why he loves me. You know what I mean? Like, I am one of, you know, I can't say I'm his only client. You know what I mean? But just off of me, he's made $100,000 probably this year.
So 7 months, I just assume it's $100,000 a month minimum. You're probably sitting around $700,000 net profit in your first year in land.
Yep. In the first 12 months. Yeah. And I've only been doing the infill lots and doing these margins since January. It's looking like it's going to be a good year. My goal for the year, once things start getting rolling, like probably in April, and I understood that this is repeatable and this is consistently happening, I thought, okay, if I get this like 700,000, that would be awesome. And then June rolls in and I'm already there. So it's like, now what's the goal? You know what I mean? Am
yeah.
I get all the way to $1 million? Like, yeah. What am I trying to do?
My next question, where are you going with it all?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Where's
how do
this
I want to
going?
change it up a little bit? But the fear for me is this too, always, and maybe it's an unrealistic fear. I don't know. Is the fishing hole going to dry up?
It could. It very well could. But what happens when one fishing hole dries up?
Yeah, you just move the boat over another fishing hole. As investors and land flippers, that's what we always have to keep in the back of your mind is I'm always looking for that new location, that new area. And really that area could literally be 15 minutes down the road from the area you're already in. And I'm kind of finding that out too. It could be the next county over. And that's what I'm actually going to do a mailer later today on the county, one county over.
There you go.
Because it has similar attributes. It's moving, land's moving. I'm going to test the waters over there. I'm going to send out probably 5,000 pieces of mail today in that area and see what goes from there. But I can go to my systems a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Love
Okay.
it. Are you still sending LOLs or postcards, or how are you? When you say mail, what does that
No,
mean?
I'm sending actual offer letters. It's a 2-page offer letter. The first page kind of outlines who I am. Kind of the intent is to kind of build trust, a little bit of trust. And then the second page is the actual purchase agreement itself, which has the APN legal description and the acreage and all of that on there. And then it gives them a date, respond by date, basically. And then it has the bottom right, a place where they can sign, put their name, email address, and phone number. So once I get that back, all I have to do, they can take a picture of it. I don't even care. Text it to me. All I have to do at that point is email it to the title company, and then they put it under contract and good to go. And then there's other things that go along with that. I use DocuSign for some things. If I ever get a purchase agreement back that says, well, I won't accept 15, but I'll accept 25. I'll either have them literally scratch out that number, write in the other number and initial it and take a picture of that and send it to me. And the title company takes it just like that.
Yeah, because who cares? I mean, an extra $1,000 does not mean anything when you're going to make $50,000-$60,000 on it.
Right. But the process, though, I want people to understand how easy it is. Like, you don't have to send them a new document. They can literally scratch it out, write in their number, initial it, and send it to you. There's no more work to be done. You know what I mean? You don't have to mail them a whole new mailer. You know what I mean? Like,
So
that's cool about
path of least resistance, because you don't want to do that, because most of these times these sellers aren't super like tech savvy. You want to keep it as easy and as simple and convenient as possible for them.
Yep, exactly. So what you had talked about in a lot of your podcasts, right? You had said, like, show me a businessman who does everything themselves and doesn't hire people and whatnot. And then I'll show you a businessman who's just miserable, right?
Yes.
So there is truth to that. A lot of truth to that. However, I think the whole point is scaling, right? The whole point is scaling the business. So it doesn't have to necessarily be hiring another person. It could be putting a digital platform or a system in place that helps you scale while keeping all of your money without having to pay other people to do it. So I'm kind of scaling. I'm still in the business, but I'm scaling in a way to simplify all the processes as much as possible, right? So how do I do that?
You're really automating and putting systems in place rather than the people.
Exactly. So let's say for acquisitions, right? What do you need? I use data tree. Okay. So I use data tree to do my data pulls and everything like that. It's very simple. And the thing is, one of the mailers I'm going to send out today is actually going to be in the same area I sent out in January, right? So I already have a lot of the data, you know what I mean? And the price points, I can mess with that a little bit. Or you can use priced. You've talked about priced several times. That makes it super easy as well. And then Redfin, Zillow, and then LandWatch, right? One thing that I like to do is I have an account with Redfin. It's a free account, right? So if you put in there your parameters, your search parameters, your land between this acreage, blah, 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 you can set it up to send you notifications.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love that because you're getting comps that way. And I'm pulling up my phone.
Real-time comps as things change, as things sell.
Exactly. As things sell. So multiple times a day, I get a Redfin notification, and it tells me and it shows me a piece of property in the area, you know what I mean, that sold or just went on the market. so that I can understand, okay, am I pricing too high? Am I pricing too low? Whatever, because this parcel could be a couple miles away from a parcel that I have about to go on the MLS or something like that, right? So I would say 10 times a day, I get a notification from Redfin telling me what land is still selling for in the area that I'm working in. That's part of it, right? So I use that.
Free account at Redfin.
Yep. You literally just put in your whatever email address you want it to be sent to, and then turn on notifications and set your parameters, and then it's good to go. And it sends you comps like every day.
There you go. I get that question all the time. Hey, I'm just starting out in this area. Well, that's one of the first steps. You can go on and sign up for that free account with Redfin. And I personally don't utilize Redfin enough. I just kind of rely on Zillow. And Zillow kind of does the same thing, but I haven't taken it to that level where I'm getting those updates, or my acquisition manager is getting those updates. So that's great tip, man. Great tip.
Yep. So I like doing that. And then let's say your mail hits and you can't answer the phone all the time. We talked about
no one has that problem. Not like only Army captains have that problem.
Right. So, like we talked about before, I'm on call 24 hours a day. I can't answer these phone calls, man, So Pat Live, I use Pat Live. Okay. So I sent them a script. They answer as though they are me, my company. And then they take down all the information. I have a reference number on every single offer letter. The reference number can be very simple, right? So it can literally be the month that you sent out that mailer and the area that it's in, and then the number, right? So if you send out, say in Colorado Springs, all right, so you put El Paso County and then April -El Paso County -1. And then your next mailer is going to be the same thing, -2, then -3, right? So when that offer letter went out, and then you can find it easily in your system on your data, the data that you mailed. It's easy to find. It makes it very, very simple that way. Ask them for their APN, all those things, but because you want to make sure that it all lines up. So, okay, I have their piece, I have their name, I have the reference number on the offer letter, and then I have their APN. So I can make sure that this is the actual property that I'm looking at. And then once I get that notification sent straight to my phone, that night when I get home from work, I can look that up and then see if it still works. Then I'll look at Redfin again, right? I look at Redfin again and make sure that the offer I send out matched up.
Yep.
And then it's all good to go. But another step that I do there to make it very, very simple is me and my realtor have a shared Google Drive.
Okay. I like that. So you're kind of involving the realtor right up front.
So this is cool. This is the game changer. Okay. Gave him access to a Google Drive. When Pat Live gives me an offer letter sent back that's signed or whatever, right? I put that seller's name. I have columns, okay? And I have the seller's name, the property address, the APN. Then I have a column there for anticipated sale price. And this is another free tip that I think everybody should use here. Never tell your realtor what you're purchasing the land for.
Yeah, I was wondering how you did that. Are you doing that?
So I never let him know. So at the beginning, he was like, so what I'd say, hey Mick, what can you sell this property for?
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, oh, well, what'd you buy it for?
Exactly. They always want to know that. I don't want them knowing that because it skews the data.
I want a totally impartial assessment of this, because I don't want this guy to say, okay, well, he's got under contract for 35. I think I can get 50 for it. You know what I mean? No.
Because they try and tell you what you should make. Well, yeah, you bought it for 35. I should be able to sell it for 45. Yeah, you'll make a quick 10 grand.
Yeah.
No, you don't tell me what I make.
Yeah. So if I have it under contract for $25,000 and he tells me he can sell it for 35, what that triggers me to do is I call the seller again and I haggle with them and I talk them down. I talked the seller down. So I offered $40,000 for a property in the past, and my realtor said that we could sell it for 55. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? So I called the guy back. I talked this guy down from $40,000 to $16,000 simply because I had the information that my realtor gave me, and it gave me an understanding, and he told me why, right? Make them tell you why you can talk it down. water access, utilities, where it's at, the slope of the property, all these things that you can go back to that seller and say, due to the slope of this property, where the house would actually be built on this property, due to water access, all of that, I'm sorry, I can only offer this much money for that property, blah, blah, blah. So he can actually give you talking points to help you haggle with the seller.
That's so good. So that way you don't just come to the seller, yeah, I could pay 16 grand. Well, why? Why? Well, there's no road, there's no water. It's a slope like crazy. And I get that question all the time. Well, I'm looking at 40 acres. I don't know what it's worth. I don't know what I should pay for it. Well, send the offer letter out. You have that seller that raises their hand and says, yeah, I will sell at this price you offered. And then that's where you get that realtor on the line and they say, yeah, your 30-day blowout sale price, your get it done now price would be 50 and you offered 40. Well, no bueno, muchacha. Like, we're going to call that seller back just like you did. And that just gives you so much confidence right there. And I don't want to say dummy proof, but it's safe. It's a safe investment. If you could pay 16,000 for it and sell it for how much?
55.
That's a no-brainer. That's like less than 30 cents on the dollar, right?
I mean, if he's off 10, 20%, you're still making money.
Exactly.
There's no risk there.
If I ever pay too much, you know how I get my money back? You know how I make the money still? I just sell or finance it on a term. I get to put my price there and then I charge interest. And, if they ever default, I take it back and sell it again. So, still make money at the end of the day. It's almost like you've got so many buffers with land and cash, realtor, seller finance. Like, this is like, if someone like me can do it, anybody can do this.
Yeah, I'm not very smart, Brent. You know me, man. Like, I'm always going to try to find the easiest way to do it. Let's say something else. Like, even your banking, right? Have mobile banking, okay? Have an understanding that most title companies will send you on the buy side a contract that's DocuSign, right? So you can, on your phone, Brent, I was on a Spur ride. You know what a Spur ride is, right?
No, tell us what it is. Okay. I can see it in my mind, but I want the listeners to know what this is.
So a Spur ride, it's something you do in the Army when you're in the cav, right? It's a cav tradition. Okay. So it's basically, it's kind of a test for anybody that's in the cav, so you can wear your spurs, on your boots after you complete this task, right? So a group of people, you go out on a land nav, ruck march / getting smoked at every turn type scenario. And it's all day. We started at 3 a.m. We go out in the middle of the woods somewhere to this very random location. And then you just start walking with your 40-pound ruck on your back as a group.
Just so everyone knows, getting smoked is like a bunch of push-ups, sit-ups, flutter kicks, jumping jacks. Just like make your butt sweat. You just feel smoked afterwards.
Yeah.
And it never stops.
No, it never stops. So you ruck 6 miles right out the gate. You have your 2 MREs, your MREs in your backpack or whatever, in your rucksack. And then you go 6 miles. And then you come to a location, and then this is your medical location. So you're gonna get trained on medevac procedures and 9-line medevac cards and all of this stuff. And then they smoke you for 20 minutes. And then you walk 2 miles to your next location. And then that location is going to be
day in the military.
Yeah, setting up some kind of like security or something right like that. Like, so there's a test for Army knowledge at every destination, but then they smoke you at every destination before you walk 2 miles to the next destination. And then you have a 6-mile ruck at the end. So by the end, you've actually rucked and hiked, essentially marched 27 point some miles. And you do this from 3 a.m. one day until 10:30 at night that night. Okay. You're just done at the end of the day. Now, in between, while I was eating my MRE, I closed on a property on the buy side because I was able to use my phone, and I had the title company send me a contract and close on the buy side. So I signed the contract digitally, all of that. And then I wired my money to purchase the property to the title company, all from my phone, while I was in the middle of a Spur ride in the Army. So that's how easy it is on the buy side, right? And then on the closing side, you know how it is. You have to have a wet signature for a closing. That's as easy as setting up a mobile notary. So after PT, I have to be at work at 9:30 in the morning, let's say 9 in the morning. I simply have a mobile notary sent to this Bite the Bagel is what it's called, a little bagel shop right off the base. And they go there and I meet up with them. And I did 2 closings on Thursday on the sales side, simply with that mobile notary, signed all my stuff, went into work, and nobody knows the wiser that I've even done that day. You know what I mean?
Nor does the bagel company. Like mine's the Black Bear Diner right outside of Fort Carson. I mean, I made just so much money right off of 115 and Academy. You know where I'm talking? Yeah,
I'm exactly what you're talking about.
They close at like 3, so most of the time it was like outdoors. We couldn't even get coffee. We're just using the patio.
Little does anybody know at work that I literally made $120,000 last Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning at Bite the Bagel, and then just went in and did my job the rest of the day
with a smile on your face.
With a smile. And so you walk into work and it's just like, nothing can bother me today. You know what I mean?
They probably know. They're like, oh yeah, Daniel didn't make $120,000 today. He's in a bad mood today.
Right. So my point to all of this is there's automations, there's finding the right title company that will work with you every single day. There's finding the right real estate agent that'll work with you every day, send you notifications, send you updates. And it's just a matter of checking your email. Check your email, do your digital signatures, have your mobile notaries that actually my title company pays for. I don't even pay for the mobile notary. It's $150 with this other title company I used to use, but this title company I use actually covers that bill, so I don't have to pay for that. So that's cool. So that's my whole point. Well, there's a way to do this no matter what.
Your system would not work for me. You know why? Because you said I had to check my email.
Well, not all of us are on your level yet, Brent.
No, I just hate checking email. I'm just really lazy at it. I've tried to hire someone to do it. I had to fire that person. I'm looking for someone else just to check my email.
Well, I see it in a different way, man. Every time I get an email, it's like I'm making money. That's the way I see it. If I get that email, if I'm getting email and there's action happening, that means that if I don't get emails, that means I'm not doing something.
I'll send you an email.
Well, send me an email. Yeah.
I'm good at sending them. I just don't like to read them.
I know what you mean. I don't like reading my Army emails. Those are the ones that I hate. So,
all right, I'm going to give you a pro tip. Everyone in the Army, anybody that's been an XO or a commander, there's this, when you get at the end of the day, you just got done with a Spur ride, or you've had like 20 meetings, or just got your butt chewed by the battalion commander, whatever it is. You click on the top one and you scroll down really quick and then hit the shift button, click on the bottom one and hit delete, and like come back in the next day, everything's fresh.
Exactly. All those problems have gone away.
If it's that important, they'll send another one.
I believe that. It's probably true.
No, don't do that. I don't recommend that. I did try it a couple times.
Now you're making the big bucks as a civilian now. So that's
way better at being a civilian, because you don't get away with that too many times in the military.
This is true. This is true.
Thanks. I mean, you've shared so much gold nuggets. I mean, I just wanted to just let you talk the whole entire time. I had so much I wanted to add, but I just wanted to hear everything you had to say. If you had one last thing to say to the listener, you're just getting started, what would you have told Daniel Watson a year ago or a year and a half ago when you're looking at getting started in land?
It's kind of the same thing I tell myself now, honestly, is don't be afraid. When in doubt, send mail.
I love that.
When in doubt, send mail often, send a lot of mail, and you're going to get responses, because you send 5,000 pieces of mail, you've paid $2,000 for it. All you need is one, man. All you need is one that's going to make you $30,000, and the rest doesn't matter. That's it.
When in doubt, send mail. It's kind of like, why do I have these rhinoceroses as my background here? They're always charging. You think when they're in doubt, they charge. That's the same thing as sending mail. So thanks so much, man. Enjoy your Saturday. Appreciate you taking your time to talk with me and give all these like gold nuggets to our listeners. So
I appreciate you having me on, man. I hope this helps somebody. I really do. That's the whole goal here is to uplift other people and take that doubt out of their mind and just go after it. Just go for it. Take that step. You know what I mean? And move forward with your land business.
Yeah. Keep mailing. Cool, man. It has helped. I know it will.
Okay, guys, there you have it. You've heard Daniel Watson's story while he's active duty, serving in the military while owning a small business. And it doesn't sound too small when he's talking about it. He's doing very, very well. If you're looking for a way to change your life and get financial freedom, time freedom, geography freedom, a simple business and one that's virtually no competition, head on over to thelandsharks.com. That's thelandsharks.com. I'd love to schedule a call. Click that schedule a call button. Talk to me or my team. We'd love to see what your goals are. And if we feel like we're a great fit, I'd be honored to coach you.